Hello, hello, everyone. I am so excited to bring to you Morrighan Lynne, one of the authors in Sacred Medicine, Mystical Practices for Ecstatic Living. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, how are you?
I am excellent, and I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so thrilled that you said yes to this book. I knew you were a magical being the moment I saw you walk across the floor in Denver, Colorado. And it is quite an honor to be in sacred space with you and to have you in this book. So thank you from my heart to yours for being a part of all of the magic. And so for everybody listening, she wrote chapter 6. It's called The Making of an Empath, How Trauma Molds the Sensitive Soul. And just the title alone makes me just want to cuddle up and embrace the words. And I just loved your chapter really touched me. I sent you a personal message on how it impacted me. And I just want everybody to be able to feel into you and your energy as the writer who gifted them these words, and also this beautiful offering of healing. And so I'm just going to hand it over to you and let you share whatever feels right to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for the space. This is really lovely. I always love connecting with you. So on that level, thank you so much. This chapter was hard. It was hard to write. I was just speaking personally, the process of it. I know we know our stories. We know our stories. It's not like I have memory loss or all of a sudden I have this amnesia lifted or anything. I know my story, but to put it into a dialogue and to make it a journey for other people to walk through with you was very difficult. It took me to a whole new level within my own story. So where at one level I really hated it, at the other level it was so cathartic and healing. So there's this really beautiful juxtaposition of, man, I got to go in there again, and I came out on the other side so much stronger. So my intention is really, I hope people get the validation of their own journey through these processes, because I know we've all been through stuff, we're all going through stuff. But if you keep trucking and you keep true to yourself, eventually you're going to come out on the other side. So I'm hoping that's the message that gets translated over into that space.
I love that. And I love how you brought the inner child into everything and how that healing process. I know I've went through it myself. It's so incredible when people go through it that deeply. Yeah. and really honor the little one within. And I'd love to hear how you got into that and when you started doing that work.
Yeah, I actually have been on my own healing journey. I think my very first therapist was when I was 25. I knew something wasn't right. I sought that out. And so it started pretty early for me. It isn't until this last couple of years where I started going into trauma-informed coaching practices. So I've signed on to be a trauma-informed coach. And of course, to teach it, to have that space for you being the practitioner, you have to go through it yourself. Yes. And the process was amazing because I realized, even though I'm what I call a worker, I'm not afraid to go into the work. I still saw so many places in my life where I was bypassing and trying to skip over those places that were really just begging for attention. And so when I got into that inner child trauma work, it changed everything in my life, because now I was able to hold the space for the littles that just needed to be validated and acknowledged. And yeah, I just sit in it. I can just feel it as I sit in it. So it's so big and spacious in there. I'm so grateful for it. And that I feel like in this world of spiritual practice and spiritual healing, so many of us are skipping over steps that are really valuable, that really can provide the nutrition of healing. And so, yeah, that's what I want to bring to the table. There's no skipping. You can't skip it. We got to go in it.
So and you brought it. So
right.
I just want to honor you. I know the story was hard to write. And I just want to honor you because I could feel all that emotion and movement throughout the pages in your words. And I love you so much for going there, because to me, that's what the sacred medicine is. It's us as practitioners going to those depths within ourselves and transforming it first within us, and then handing it over to those who are ready to make a difference in their own lives, and to look at the stuff that gets suppressed or pushed aside or bypassed, like you said, sidestepped. And you're giving a beautiful, beautiful introduction into this work. And it feels like a safe container, the way you set it up. So thank you for that. I appreciate that so very much.
Thank you. That means everything to me. That's all. Like, that's all. Thank you. You've been a wonderful crowd. That's it. That's all I want, is the safety.
It is. It's what's so important. And I know, people have had both. They've been held and supported, and some have been in containers that were not so safe. And I think that is such a big part of my work. And those of you that I've gathered for this book, I think all have that integrity to hold space in that way. And that is a life changer for me, to be able to give that to the world, where the people who are even reading and going through our tools, whether it's on our resource pages or whatever, that they feel that safety, they feel that warm embrace, and they know that they are loved and they're protected.
Oh yeah, there's a very high caliber of that safe space with each author. Like, I'm going through all the chapters and just like immersing myself in their energy. And this is a really powerful book. I'm so grateful to be a part of it. Oh, I can't wait to get it out there and people get to actually have the benefits of it.
It's almost going into the world. I have one more question for you, and I can't remember the exact line that you wrote, but when I read it, I had to read it again, about when you learned about empaths. You know what I'm talking about, right? I was like, wait a minute, curveball.
Oh, that was a bad day. That was a bad day. So picture this, right? When we go through this world, and I know a lot of us feel displaced or disjointed, and we don't know where we belong. And when we were growing up, the word empath was pretty non-existent. I mean, it's a sci-fi term. Like, if you want to look at the history of empath, like, yeah, it started in Star Trek in like 1967 or something. So yeah, it's there. But I felt like I came home. Things made so much sense when I finally understood not only the empath, but the relationship between the narcissist and the empath, like having so many like past memories of, oh, that's what that was. Oh, that's what that was. So it was really peaceful and validating to finally have terminology for what I experienced. And then fast forward, I think it was like a year and a half ago, I'm in this webinar with this gentleman, this beautiful soul that he was my introduction into the trauma work and the neurological healing of it. And he said, empaths aren't born, they're made. And I'm like, wait, I don't like you anymore. I don't understand what you're talking about.
That I was like, wait a minute. Hello. Wait.
Oh yeah, it was such a cognitive dissonance moment of like, I didn't like him anymore. Instantly, I'm like, no, I don't like you. You're taking away everything that I finally felt comfortable with. So it took me a little while to kind of sit with it. And honestly, I still a little struggle with it, because there's that feeling of like, don't take it away from me. But the more I lean into it and the more I study and the more I learn, it's like, nah, yeah, he's right. He's right.
I love that you put it there, because the way that it was said impacted, and I mean, I had to read it again, but it's what I know from my own studies.
Yeah.
But I've never read it in that way. Right. But I think that people throw the word empath around very loosely.
Yeah.
And often as an excuse mechanism, but without understanding what it truly is and how to work with the gift instead of letting it use you, but also putting people in a box as empaths that are truly not.
Right. It's a catch-all. It's now one of those spiritual jargon catch-all phrases, like, oh, I must be an empath. I must be an empath. And you're right. Like, and I'm a walk my talk kind of person. So I also don't like throwing that word around too much. And I do believe that even though we are made, there are some skills and practices to put into place to where, like you said, it's not it's not taking over, you're working it as opposed to it working you. So it is now my superpower. I truly believe that, but I had to get over the fact that it was made through trauma. I needed to mourn that part of me that just didn't want to accept that for the moment.
And there lies part of the healing. Yes.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, those many deaths that we go through.
Oh, the little deaths are so good.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Well, what else would you like to share with those watching and our potential readers? But any message that you would send out to anybody of what you would like them to know about their self-healing journey?
Oh my gosh. That's such a vast place. So if I just kind of tune in with all of that, just see what my guides want to say. We're all a mess. That's what's coming. We're all such a mess, and we're all really just trying to figure it out. And some things will resonate with you and some things won't. But there's this, like it even just brings the emotion up of like, just keep going. Just keep looking, just keep questioning, stay curious, stay open, keep going, because we belong somewhere. But the more and more I play with that whole belonging energy, I belong to myself first.
Yes.
I belong to myself. And then everything else is a bonus. I think there's so much, oh gosh, loneliness and disjointedness, especially those of us that have experienced trauma. We were not a part of the family unit. We were the ones that, we were the bullshit callers. We were like, this isn't, who are you people? Like, this doesn't work. And so it set us early on a path of never really feeling like we belonged. And I wanted to belong just like everybody else. And what I'm coming to in my long years of this walking this path is I belong to myself first. And that's the only thing that matters. It's the most important thing. And when you know that, everything else is a bonus. Everything else is the experience and the opportunity to have nutrition in the experience. But belong to yourself first.
Those are words of a wise woman.
Well, that's what my guides were sharing. So.
You are a medicine woman, and I appreciate. Thank you to you. Thank you to your guides. Your words are beautiful. Hashtag truth. Like it is, and I think it takes us on our own journey to get there. I'm at that space now too, but it took a long time.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I think part of that is the phases of womanhood too, just getting into this place of being. Like right now I'm in this crone energy, right? That it's just like, I am who I am. Yes. And that does come first. And I speak my truth. And if it makes you uncomfortable, I am so sorry.
Yes.
But this is what's on offer. And just because you don't like it doesn't make it any less true. Right. And my truth can be different than yours and vice versa. But I think honoring that and holding it to that level of I'm being me.
Right. There's nothing else.
There's nothing else. And not backpedaling out of it, because that's, something I see a lot of us do is we get so secure and so authentic, but then we get pushed back. We shift back into trying to people please.
Well, that's our security, right? That's what we learned in our trauma is if everyone else is okay, then I'm okay. And so we people pleased the crap out of our people and made sure everyone else was okay because that was our safety, that was our security. And it takes a long time to unlearn that, to anchor the safe space within yourself. And then, like I'm now to the place where years and years of work, but I can sit with someone's disappointment in me when I'm not being what they want me to be. I can feel the disappointment, but my trauma response doesn't kick on and make them okay. I'm just like, oh, I'm very aware you are displeased in this moment. That's okay. And
I feel like this is the place when people go in our industry from wounded healer to know I'm healer. I've been healed. I'm not stuck in my story. And I'm not going to be pulled back into my story or into my trauma. Like you've worked through it. It has been transformed.
Yeah.
There's levels of the transformation, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like a video game. You just keep leveling up, of course. Right. But that's technically why I wanted to write about trauma in a sacred medicine book, because everyone has trauma. Everyone is bottling something up and knee-jerking because of it. Like they're making those mindless reactionary spaces in their life, and that's the trauma response. And so I wanted to bring that to the table because, well, my own death around that is I was really surprised how much of my personality is actually trauma response.
Right.
Like that's the first death, is realizing I'm not myself. I'm my trauma responses. And so to peel away those layers to get down to the core is its own death process. So
it is, and it's vulnerable, but after you get through that vulnerability, there's so much power there to claim.
yes, I'm just, yes. There's
and you're
so
basking in the power.
There's so much, yes. Yeah.
Yes. And I love that. It's such an honor to be with you. I adore you. I love you. And I cannot wait to celebrate with you at closing ceremony when this book is ready and out into the world.
Yeah.
And we're going to pop all of the information on how to get a hold of Morrighan. So check out her website. Make sure that you go and visit her and follow her on social media. She is truly the real deal. So just check her out, follow her, and make magic with her.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We love you.
Bye. Thanks.